All right, good evening and welcome to High Elevations TV. My name is Ernesto Rodriguez, or they can call me Sir Ness. I am joined by a very special guest this evening. His name is Robert Taper. And before we begin and introducing Robert, I'd like to take a second and read you a little brief bio about Robert, if I may. Robert Taper is an author of the book The Real Living Truth by Robert Lee Taper, which talks about its injustice with the prison system as high and its high-profile case. He has also appeared in two independent movies, one called District Queens, which is available on demand, and the other one, Water, which comes out later on this year. Robert is also working on a sports bag, and he's into real estates. Robert, welcome to Higher Elevations.
Thank you for having me here, sir.
Absolutely. So this series this month begins Black History Month, and I've titled this series Silent Prison. So those who don't know the Robert Taper story, we're going to get to that, right? The injustice, the criminal systems, and all that, right? Before we get to that part, let's put your life in perspective for people, right? So they can get to know you before all the atrocities that happen to you in your life, right? So I like to begin by, setting the stage and talking about your family, your neighborhood. You grew up in Washington, D.C. I really want for you to share with our viewers what it was like in your neighborhood. How was it that, growing up, the teenage years, the fist fights and all that kind of stuff. Talk to us about that. Let's give him the real raw Robert before any of what we going to.
My name is Robert Lee Taper, and I live in Washington D.C., Illinois Avenue. They right across from Truesdale Elementary School,
Yes.
and our neighborhood was kind of it was a real good neighborhood. You know, we had fights amongst the neighborhood guys, or we'd be fighting against schools sometimes, or just neighborhood fights. Back in our days when we come up, we would fight each other. We
None of
won't
that
be
shooting stuff,
no,
right?
yeah, it wasn't no gun play. There was little guns and stuff around and like that, but
Right.
mostly it was just fighting.
That's
You couldn't even come off your porch if you couldn't even fight. You know,
right.
yeah. Back in those days, you had to stand up for something, stand up for yourself, really. Or somebody will run you back in the house, or
That's
next
right.
day you be going back over the same thing again, fighting each other, fighting. And then, that guy you fought, y'all become the best of friends
There it
sometimes.
is. There it is.
So that's how my life of growing up around in Northwest was.
It's
But these,
funny. I was up there in Northeast for a while. I remember, we there was a 4 block in the section, right?
right,
Stop line for. We call that the boxing ring. I see you in the ring. We go out there and we fist fighting. You know what I mean? I got black eyes, knocked out. Like you said, man, those guys today we're still friends. Real talk, man.
right. You
So I
become the
appreciate
best
it.
of friends.
Best of friends, right?
Right.
All right. So what about your family? You grew up in uptown in
Yeah.
D.
Up in middle, it was a middle class area where we growed up in. My family, they excuse me, basically the same way they are today. They loving. We growed up in a household with like six six brothers, three sisters. We got along pretty good. We used to fight each other ourselves. So, and our mother stayed on us a lot about schooling and stuff like that. So, that's what she basically was on. We had a lot of household tours that every person would have to do during a month or probably a week. You'd do
It was
this.
7 of y'all. You said it was 7 of y'all.
No, six,
6 of y'all.
six
So
boys, three girls.
what do you fall in there? You the oldest, the middle, or
I'm
which
like
one?
the middle child.
The middle child. That's like
Right.
me. So, okay. All right.
I got two that's underneath me.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and uh
And then the other ones are above you. So you really are the middle child then.
right.
All right. All
Uh,
right.
as, as growing up, we got a it was we let me see how I can explain this. As growing up as a team with seven boys and three girls, it just I can't really. It
I'm
was
sure
kind of hard.
y'all were close though as a family. Y'all fought together, stuck together.
Yeah, we fought together, we stuck together, but it was a part that was always missing that I never really seen in our family. We show that love and support with each other when it comes to any kind of violence towards the family or one of the brothers or the sisters getting involved with something.
Hmm.
We'd come together then, but I really didn't see none as just that pure love to get though.
Mm.
Yeah, that was something I always missed it. I never had a family reunion or anything, so that was something I really wanted when I came home. And that love I had between my brothers and sisters is something I always missed it. It's something I really never had.
Right.
You know, it's like we grow up, in a defense
Hmm.
kind of way, but we never really could sit down and give that that love with just that pure love that you think you're missing that you want.
That
You know?
interaction, the brotherly love, that sisterly love, that paternal or motherly love, right?
Right,
Yeah,
right,
you're
right.
right. It was seven of us growing up, and I have to say we were a real close knit family, and
Yeah,
we
it's
did
like
everything together. I remember
it's
we playing Monopoly and Purchase and all that together. So
yeah, we used to do a lot of that.
that
Then we
kind of
got
okay. At least you had that, right? Okay.
right, yeah, we had a lot of that. We had a lot of sports time when we played sports with each other because all of us was athletes. Except for my little sister, she ain't never really played too much sports or nothing like that. But most of the boys that was in the house, we played a lot of, if it wasn't basketball, it was football, or we played baseball a little bit sometimes with each other. You just know we do a lot of bike riding as well. We done a lot of that.
So when you was playing sports, was this in school then, or are you
Yeah,
talking?
yeah, we used to play. I used to play football in school when I went to school.
What high school you go to?
I went to Coolidge High School.
All right, yeah, y'all had some game up there. Okay, okay.
We had some good games up there.
You ain't never lie about that. So tell me about your time spent in school. Going into school, what was that like? The teachers and were they supportive? Growing up in DC, I know when like I went to Ballou, and
Right.
everybody was for themselves in a sense. The teachers was there. Some of them was really genuinely trying to help you, but the rest of them was like, whatever, man. I'm getting my check and I'm going home. Talk to me.
That's how.
What was
Yeah,
like
it was.
school for you?
It was similar to that same feeling when I was going to school. I feel the teachers wasn't really putting out a good way of educating us back then in them days. It was like if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. It was like, and I growed up, you know, with a reading disability.
Mm,
I never really got to really learn how to read when I was in school. I basically picked all that up when I was in incarceration.
mm,
Yeah, and that's kind of crazy how way
yeah.
I learned how to read and write. It's I don't know, I can't even explain it, but I can talk about it. But it was a crazy way of my learning process.
Mm-hmm.
It's like God is like one thing we take it from you, God give you two, three more things to live off of.
Isn't that something? Isn't that?
Yes,
That's right. Right.
in my way of that educational frame, it's just like I was a gifted person all my life. I always thought of. I
Mm-hmm.
probably couldn't read something, but I could look at something like anything to fix or whatever. I can look at it and put it together without even reading it.
I'll be sitting there for 4 days trying to figure it out, man.
It was just that gift I had. So
That's
when I had that type of gift, it was just I couldn't think I could fix anything.
no, that's right. So
You
y'all
know,
get handy with the hands.
yeah, it doesn't matter what it was with broken. The only thing I don't like working on is cars.
Mm, okay. I mean, what's wrong with cars, man? You can take that apart
And
and put it back together, right?
yeah,
What's up?
you can take that apart, but it's a problem when you come and get your hands dirty with that oil. and it's hard getting it out of them.
They got gloves nowadays, man. You go to
I
the
don't like
shop,
working
you
in
got
gloves.
gloves on.
I never liked the working in gloves,
Yeah,
really.
I don't either, man. It takes like, your dexterity. You can't really grab stuff. I go to
Yeah.
barber shop now. The barber's got gloves on now, man. I was like, what's
But
going
they
on,
got so much new technology out here. I just recently started working in gloves since I've been married because I don't want my wife trying to chop my head off or messing my ring up or nothing.
Exactly, exactly. I feel you on that. All right. Hey, happy wife, happy home, man. I've been married 30 years, man. I do
Well,
whatever
I'm
she
trying
say
to
do.
get there.
I do whatever she say do. All right. So we talked about your neighborhood, how I was growing up, your family, that kind of stuff, right? In your household, your siblings, your brothers and your sisters, some about your school. Um,
Right.
I want to now shift and now talk about the incarceration process, right? And I want to talk about it from the framework of the whole Bureau of Prison, the BOP. Beginning with the police officers and the prosecutors, the judges, and all that. So before we get to them, let's tell the viewers about the situation that landed you in jail. You know, you know, and I know back in the '80s there were stories about this running all the time. There's still some articles out there and research about the situation and how it happened in the process. But for those who don't have that and they want to hear from you in your own words, right? Tell us about what happened that day that you were arrested.
Well, that day I was arrested,
Look, what you had for breakfast?
I can't even remember
Just
what I ate that
paint
day.
the whole day for me. It just didn't just boom and happen, right? Paint that day for me, if you can remember, of course.
I can't even really remember what I ate that day, but I know I got up. I say about 6, 7 in the morning,
Okay.
and went out. Up on the strip, try to get rid of some more drugs that I did.
What
And
you guys doing back then? Y'all
uh,
selling weed or y'all on those rocks?
yeah, crack cocaine.
Okay. All right. That was a
And
thing back in the 80s in Indiana City, and we know who to blame for that. We know who to blame for that. We ain't gonna go there right now, but we know who to blame for that. But go ahead.
right. Uh, I was on my way back home, and then noticed that police was around the house, but I really didn't see anyone at the time. So as I got back closer to the house,
Hmm.
that's when they arrested me. But they had my whole block surrounded
Wow.
with for police and around the whole block through the alley and all that. So when they locked me up that day, it was like they was telling me I was locked up for being armed robbery. I said armed robbery. I'm like, I'm not the type of person to go out robbing nobody because I was making enough money.
Exactly.
What I need to rob somebody for?
Hmm.
And then when they were explaining to me, saying you did a robbery, I said robbery. I said, man, robbery. I said I don't rob nobody.
Hmm.
So when they got to explaining to me exactly what took place, they saying, well, you robbed this guy, blah blah blah, and I'm like, I can't recall me robbing nobody or nothing.
Hmm.
So after all that going on, we went into the fourth district precinct. So they got to talking to me more about it and more. So they showed me a videotape. So I'm like, oh, you talking about that? I said, man, I ain't a robbery. I'm still thinking I didn't rob that person.
Right.
This guy came to me trying to buy crack cocaine that day,
Hmm.
and I told him I was out. But up on that neighborhood, you had what they used to call back then in them days. They called it the jump out boys.
Yep. We
They'd
still
come,
here.
yeah, they'd come and try to rob you for the drugs or the
Hmm.
money that you got.
Hmm.
So the victim had approached me, and when he approached me, he asked me, "Did I have anything?" I said, "No, I'm ran out. I don't have anything no more."
Hmm.
So when he come back up on me again, but he had a coat over his arm that was covering his hand up at the time. So the first thing I'm thinking coming to my mind, this guy coming to try to rob me.
Right.
So
That's.
when he kept pushing up on me trying to buy drugs,
Hmm.
first thing I said, I'm never gonna let nobody take anything from me or do anything to me. So I just turned around and like I was doing something else and swung back around and hit him. My
Stole,
thing was,
stole
yeah, I stole him. First, I didn't, my intentions, I didn't think was to knock him, to stutter him back to go at him to see if he had a gun.
Mm-hmm.
But when I hit him, the guy fell out.
Mm-hmm.
So when he fell out, the other guys around the neighborhood, the people that be out there on the block them days, they
Right.
started going all through his pockets,
Mm.
taking stuff, whatever he had in him. He didn't have nothing, but because he was trying to, after I found out, he was trying to sell a coat that he had.
Oh.
And then realizing it was another guy that was with him. And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't even know that guy was with him.
Right.
So as they going in his pocket, they find a police badge.
What?
Yeah, they found a they
Well,
found a
but he wasn't
badge.
a police officer though.
No, it wasn't a police officer.
He was he was he was really a jump out boy.
We thought he was a police officer at the time that happened, but as time, going down the line of the case, we found out he was a medical staff that worked inside the one of the Lawton facilities, and
Mm.
the guy that was with him was a correctional officer.
What? At
Yeah,
Lord.
yeah. The correct he was trying to sell a correctional officer coat, and he the one that was his badge, and that was his coat that he was trying to sell to get crack cocaine for.
Wait. The correction officer gave, I guess, the crackhead his badge and his coat to sell it to get some crack so they can go back and smoke it.
Right.
Damn.
Well, we never knew the badge or nothing that was in the coat or whatever. All
Mm.
they was trying to do was get rid of the coat at that time.
Mm.
And so when they knocked him out, they said, "Man, I'm walking to go home." There's a guy running behind me with the video camera on. But the first thing I asked him, "Man, did you record that?" He said, "No, I ain't recording. I just bought the camera from a crackhead. I wanted to see if it worked." So I take his word for what he's saying,
Right.
and continue to walk on down the street. As I'm continue to walk on down the street, that's when one guy urinated on the guy.
So
One
he was
guy,
knocked out, knocked out.
yeah, I think that they urinated on him to wake him up. it,
1980s boy.
it was crazy and all that. And, after they woke him up and get him on down the street, and then somebody else came along and shot the guy. He shot him in his buttock.
You- oh man. So don't.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna get to that later. But go ahead. Go ahead.
And
Wow.
as all that was going on, like I said, I kept walking on to go home.
So
So the
wait a
guy
second.
went.
So did you see them shoot him in the buttocks, or this is what they told you after the fact?
I heard the gunshot, but I didn't know if he got shot or nothing.
I got you.
He got really shot. But I seen him from me walking down the street. I look back, I seen him hollering,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't think he got shot then. I think he hollered from being frightened of hearing that gun sound,
Right.
noise of the gun. So as I continue to walk on home, you know, it's like it's just everything just started, going on wrong. So I went on in the house and just chilled out. Came out the next couple of days, a week, 2, 3 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and didn't worry about it. And the whole time coming out of mine after I was locked up and incarcerated, we was like, well, how did they get that videotape? And the guy told me he wasn't even videoing it. It was one of my co-defendants, uh, brothers or some family members. He got locked up
For
and
videotaping it.
told, yeah, he told the police about the tape. They didn't know of the tape or knew nothing about the tape.
So he got a deal.
I don't know what he got out of it. So it went kind of public. I mean, high profile then after that. And the only reason I think that our case went high profile like that, because it happened at the same time the Rodney King case happened.
Oh yeah.
And I think they used that tape as a cover up of showing. No, it's really, I say they used it as a cover up
Hmm.
because at the time the Rodney King case happened, you had police officers basically done the same thing we done, just basically beat up somebody.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And all thing going in my mind that whole time, if we being charged for this, they should have been charged the same as we was. You know, because they correction. I mean, because they was police officers, they didn't give them nothing. They nothing to happen to them or anything,
Hmm.
and that kind of made me feel bad. You had somebody upholding the law going out here beating up people or doing something to somebody, to harming somebody.
And they still doing that today.
Yeah, it got
Got
it got
worse.
kind of it got out of hand.
Yep. Now they beat him up, then shoot him. Sometimes they
Right.
just hang him in their cell. Somebody, well, they hung himself. But yeah, it's still the same situation out here. All right. So we talked about the police and how they did that, right? Got the tape and all of that kind of stuff. All right. Now you got to go to the court now. Now you got to go in front of this judge and this prosecutor. What was that like? Was the prosecutor just like, ah,
Man, it was
give him 50 years, and the judge like, okay,
no
about that. What was that like?
most of them was thought it was just a little some young kids out there
Hmm.
sillying off, goofing off, and attack the guy and just beat the guy up. And then some people was trying to make it like it was something more than what it was, and it was kind of crazy, man, because some of the people didn't want to charge everybody with everybody done. It was my conviction was conspiracy to commit robbery and armed robbery.
And it was five of y'all, right? That they charged, or four? I think it was five or four. I read.
I think it was five of us,
Okay.
five altogether.
Charged at the same time, not individually, right? Everybody
Right,
in the court at the same time.
right. They was trying to get everybody in court to, stand forward for what you done or what you played in the part.
Hmm.
Because if you would have took your own troubles of what you done
Hmm.
or what you played in that part,
Hmm.
it wouldn't have spread it out as a conspiracy.
Exactly.
By didn't know did I admit to what I done because all I did was assault the guy.
Right.
And what the other guys done or what they done, didn't everybody agree to that? So they put it as a conspiracy charge.
And that was the prosecutor's idea to do that, right?
Right,
And the whole
right,
thing was to try to get conviction rate up. And then you talking about getting five instead of getting one.
right. So when they ran the conspiracy, that linked everybody together, saying that we all agreed to do this and agreed to do that, which was a lie.
It has
You
to be.
know,
You didn't know that person was coming.
right,
The other guys didn't know that, you was talking to him and then you stole him because, you told the man you didn't have anything. And he comes back now with a coat on his arm. I would have done the same thing. Blah!
right.
Back, Slim, what
So
you doing? Right?
it was kind of crazy because they used one of my own family members to convict me,
Oh, wow.
and he was underage at the time that they used him. I don't know right now today how that played out because as a juvenile, you cannot use another family member against another family member in court unless you get the consent of the mother. And I don't know how that played out or what. And then when I talked to him, he tell me that they was only supposed to give me 6 months to a year. And I also heard the same thing from the victim. Because when I got locked up doing time from up to jail, and then when they sentenced me, they sent me down the road to the Lawton facility. And that's where I ran into the victim once again. He was working inside of one of the, I was behind the wall.
You gotta be kidding me. The
Nah,
same person that went on the block try to buy crack from you the same
Right.
person now as your CEO or one of the CEOs.
No, he's not. He wasn't a CEO. He was a doctor or something down there. He
Or
was
he
in
was
the
on his
medical.
staff.
Yeah, he was in the medical field down there.
Well, ain't that something?
Yeah,
Now I
so
want
I'm
to hear about that. What was that like?
man, that was crazy, man. Because when he first came down to tier, I wasn't doing too good in jail, so I would get like cigars or something, and
Hmm.
I would crush them up, put
Hmm.
them on my foot locker on
Hmm.
top of some newspaper or something, and to let it dry out.
Hmm.
To roll it up in my little tobacco paper to smoke.
Right. Hmm.
So I hear this guy coming down the unit, and I seen him. So when I seen him, I was like, man, this look like the guy, I saw him on the street.
Hmm.
So I said, excuse me, sir, can I speak to you a minute? He didn't even know who I was.
Wow. How many years ago was that between that
That
and
was
then?
like that was probably like a year, 2 years after that.
Okay. Okay.
So but be, let me get through that part
Hmm.
and tell you what happened. So he thinking his drugs I had sitting on the foot locker.
That was just your tobacco that you had
Yeah,
drying out.
tobacco. He said, man, I said, man, you don't know who I am? He said, no. He said, who are you? I said, man, I'm the guy that assaulted you, man. He said, oh. He said, what are you still doing in here? They told me that you was only supposed to get 6 months to a year.
Mm.
And I was like, what? So immediately, once I got out for rec, I called my mother
Hmm.
and let my mother know that I was, down here locked up with a guy I work at. I
Hmm.
mean, can you call the warden and let them know they need to move me in case somebody do something to this guy while I'm on a tier with him? They think I got them
Right.
wanting them to do something to him.
Hmm.
But before all of that happened, I was up to jail when they convicted me.
Hmm.
By me they had a high publicized case on me, so they put me in the lockdown block.
Mm.
Before I got into the lockdown block, I got into a altercation inside one of the units and got into a fight in one of there. So that's when they put me in the lockdown block. As I'm in the lockdown block, being on oil leave, being a detail,
Right.
they lock the person up. So when every time they bring somebody in the unit to lock up, they make all the orderlies lock in their cells. And then once they put whoever the prisoner just came in,
Right.
they'll lock them down, give them their bed stuff they need or whatever, so and so, and then they'll let us back out. So I walked down the tier to check on all the new guys that just came in, see if they need toilet paper or whatever they need to get their cell cleaned out.
Hmm.
And the guy just started hollering and screaming. So they locked him up though. And I'm trying to figure out what the heck was wrong with this guy there. So I went up to tell the officer in the booth. I said, man, something wrong with that guy down there, man. That guy just down there hollering and screaming in the cell. So the officer went down there and talked to him. They locked all of us down again.
Can't
So
win.
I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with this guy while I was in the cell. So I never said nothing. So they let us back out.
Hmm.
One of the officers called me to the booth. They said, Taper, you know who that guy was? I said, no, I don't know him. I don't know what was wrong with him. I said, what's wrong with him though? Concerned about why he was going off down there.
Right.
They said, man, that's the guy you locked up for. I said, what? I said, man, why you ain't let me talk to him? Let me talk to him, man. He said, man, that's against policy. I can't let you talk to him, man. I said, well, what the hell he was screaming for? He was screaming because you was in the block with him.
He had a flashback about the knockout.
Yeah. So I'm like, why the hell they locked that dude up? They locked him up to force him to testify or to commit that we the ones that assaulted him.
Oh wow! Wait a second, Robert. Wait a second.
Yeah, it
The
was
person
crazy.
that the two people that was out there trying to buy crack from you, one that you knocked out, the other one was staff at the Lorton prison
Yeah,
right there with you in the same
right,
Lorton prison.
right.
All right, please go on. This is
So
unbelievable.
yeah, after that, I found out that he was locked up. They had no charges on him or nothing. So it was to make him
Testify against you.
right, to let them say, oh, this the guy that did this to you and blah 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 blah. So I'm like, man, that is crazy. And then I'm getting around to that as we going back and forth to court. They rushing us. They getting us up about 4 or 5 in the morning. You know, rushing us out of there. Put us in the paddy wagon. Each one of my co-defendants, they've used several cars for us and turn on the sirens. And from the jail, shoot straight down to the court building. I'm like, man, what is going on here? We acting like we done killed like the multiple people or something, or we was just dangerous people. Because that's how you treat a person that's done a real serious crime. You know, you put the
That
sirens on with no stopping through traffic and run us straight down to the court building. And I'm saying I can't believe they doing us like this over just an assault or just a guy getting beat up. It
unbelievable.
was crazy. It had me thinking and you know, a whole time in my mind, I'm thinking all I'm gonna get is 6 months to a year.
Hmm. So the prosecutor, speaking of them, got your family member underage to testify against you, all
Correct.
because they tricked them by saying, "Oh, he's only going to get 6 months to a year, so you can go ahead and tell the truth." And then it turned
Right.
around and try to do the same exact thing to the person that you assaulted, and he
Correct.
refused to do, so they put him in jail.
Right.
Yes, yes, yes. You definitely got to. You definitely got to get it. Okay, I'm gonna get to that in a minute. So, how many
It's
years?
crazy.
How many years did they give you for punching somebody, which is common in the hood in those days, and knocking them out? Right.
I'm gonna
I know what
say
they charge you and what they gave you, but how many years realistically did they give you for punching somebody?
I'm gonna say this. I never got charged before that.
Mm, that
I
was
got
straight to
charged
the whole conspiracy robbery thing. Huh?
right. I got conspiracy to commit robbery and armed robbery.
Hmm. Did you have
So
a weapon?
no, I didn't have a weapon. I got the charge from everything else all my co-defendants done,
Mm,
but I never got charged for what I done. From
exactly.
the incident that happened with well, how the dude got knocked out, that
Mhm.
wasn't even I didn't even get convicted of that. But when I go get sentenced, they give me time for that too though.
They
And
bumped
I couldn't understand. I don't never knew nothing. I don't know too much about law,
right.
but that was common sense to me that that was something wrong right there.
Yep. Let me
You
say
know,
this. Let me pause for a second and say this, Robert. If anybody out there that's listening who's an attorney and can spare some pro bono time, this brother sincerely and genuinely needs your help. What I'm hearing, I'm not an attorney either, but something does not sound right there. In fact, the point that you are now in the same prison with the person who you assaulted and the person who was part of the whole criminal investigation, something is wrong with that. Right? And then they bundle this crime you were never charged for what you initially should have been charged with, and you admit to that. You're not backing us and no, I didn't have nothing to do with that. You admit you was out there selling the drugs, and it takes a real man to say all that. I believe you. So, brothers, anybody out there, we need a male or a female, him, her, them, whatever. This brother needs an attorney. So, anybody that's out there that's hearing this story right now, and if you want to help, please reach him. He is on Facebook as Robert Taper. And if you look at the ticker, his email is at the bottom, roberttaper71 at gmail.com. Robert Taper71 at gmail.com. Let's get this brother some help, y'all. Thank you. Go right ahead, Robert.
as so they kept moving me around from prison to prison. I spent 5 years here, 4 years here, 5 years here. I suppose I went up for parole in 1999, but every time I go up for parole, they give me a hit. So I done like I supposed to been released in 1999,
Mhm.
but wind up getting released in 2010,
Mm.
which I had in my mind. I don't know why that I ain't gonna get out of here till I'm about damn near 40 to 50 something years old.
You're already prepared mentally for that.
Yeah. So it was like, I never been locked up a day in my life. I
Before
never
that,
done
that was your first
my first conviction
yeah.
ever. That
Wow.
was my first conviction ever being incarcerated doing time for anything,
Mm, mm, mm.
and it was rough for me, man. I just try to hold on. I never thought I would make it out.
What kept you going?
I guess my attitude. I had a son,
Mm,
and I always thought I would probably get killed while I was in jail, or
mm.
you know, or wind up boosting my time back up more.
Right.
So I don't really know how I did it.
Well, you did it. And here you are now. You know what? Let's close that door. Right. That chapter is now behind you in a sense where you're no longer behind the confines of the walls, but now you're still on parole. Now, I understand you got out in what, uh, 2019? You got out?
You said when I got out,
Yes,
I got out 2010.
in 2010. And then from there, they gave you 20 years of parole. Right. So
I'm
you
still on parole as I speak now.
now, and you don't get out parole till 2030,
2032.
32. Woo, another 8 years. I mean, 20, another 10 years, right?
Right.
Well, let me get this straight. Hmm. You're on the block in the inner city, the height of the crack epidemic that the federal government admit that they brought into this country and flooded into the ghettos. You use it because and there's no other way pretty much to take your family. So you were selling it. You admit that. Somebody you think trying to rob you, you knock them out. They give you 10 years or whatever, then you ended up serving 20 years, and then you get out in 2010, and then they give you 20 years of parole. So if you get in any trouble, you go back and serve another 20 years. So
Yeah.
you're serving 40 years for punching somebody. I gotta say,
Yeah.
man, people, if you're listening to this brother needs an attorney. If you wanted to work pro bono, please help Robert Taper 71 at gmail.com. Robert Taper 71 at gmail.com. My mind is blown. I'm blown.
Yeah, I've been stabbed probably like uh one time when I was over to jail. I got split my finger open right here for trying to help a little young dude. Somebody was bullying him, taking his food trays all the time.
Hmm.
So I tell the young dude, I said, man, I'm not gonna go up there and fight your battle for you, man, but I will help you.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go up there and, do something to the dude, hit the dude, or go up
Mm-hmm.
there to fight the dude.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you getting out on you, I'll come help you.
Right.
But I gave my word. Once I give you my word about what I'm gonna do, if I'm gonna assist you, or if I'm not gonna assist you. So once I tell the little young dude that, the young dude go up there and punch the dude in the face
Mm-hmm.
and then run.
And how behind
So
you?
yeah, so when he run, I'm like, dang, I gave this guy my word. So as the guy trying to get this little shank out of his jumper,
Mm-hmm.
I go over there, come from behind him, and help the little dude.
Mm-hmm.
Start beating on the dude,
Right.
turn around. And we got to fighting. Dude got his head split open.
Did
I got my
you,
hand cut, and they locked us all down. Locked the unit down that day. They couldn't. They went around looking in the cells to see who was bleeding, but the time they come around, I was hiding up underneath the bunk inside the cell. So they all left out because they couldn't find nobody. So somebody in the unit told on me. They came directly straight back down to my cell when I thought they was gone
mm-hmm.
and told me, where you come from? I said, man, I've been in the cell the whole time. But my
was
hand
bloody up
was
and everything?
wrapped up. Yeah, so when they got me, they then they see where they talking about how you did that. I said I did that playing basketball
Mm,
inside there.
mm.
How the heck you see this big old cut? How you do that playing basketball? Ain't nothing in there. That shot I said I got it snatched on the rim. Ain't
Mm.
no way I can jump up there and touch that. There's no way I can get up there and jump
Sounded
up there
good.
and touch the rim. So they locked me down for that. And after that, that's when I went started going down to the Lawton facilities and got down there and got in some trouble.
So
They got hit.
you started off with Lorton,
No, I started off in the DC jail.
DC jail, and then you went to where?
Then I went down to Lawton.
And then
I went down to Aquan was my first place.
that's in Virginia.
Yeah, that's in Law. Yeah. So
Gotcha.
when I went to
In Stafford.
Aquan, I got to fix I know, like I say, I'm good with my hands. I can
Hmm.
basically fix anything.
Hmm.
It was a fan down there that wasn't working.
Hmm.
I fixed the fan. Some guys told on me inside the unit.
Hmm.
I don't know what they told them. They told him that and so it was like 7, 8 cops came in there and surrounded my bed.
Hmm.
So they come and, come on, let's go. I was like, let's go. Go where? You ain't gonna come down here with this. I'm like, man, what are you talking about? You come down here robbing people and trying to take people's stuff already, and you ain't even been there that long. So I'm like, man, what are you talking about? I said, man, then I ain't know, like I say, I don't know nothing about jail, never been in jail before. I told a guy, one of the I think it was a lieutenant. I said, man, you'll know if I was gonna do something to somebody, they'd be laying here in the floor in the puddle of blood, just talking some old rough stuff or whatever.
Hmm.
So next thing I know, they sent me behind the wall. So I'm saying in my mind when they was like, man, what the hell is the wall? 'Cause-
Wow.
yeah, because I didn't know where I was going or what I was saying at the time. So when I got back there, I stayed in the wall for like 5 years.
What?
That's that's a unit where you only come out once a hour, 1 hour for your
Bet.
rec. You come out for your recreation, your phone call, and a shower, all in that hour.
5 years like that.
Yeah, after 5 years, and then they sent me back out of there after 5 years. They sent me down on the hill. That's another Lawton, Virginia, another Lawton facility.
That's
And
the hell is part of Lorton.
yeah, it was a part. It had several different parts of Lawton.
Okay, but still out
Then
there.
when I huh?
But still out there in Virginia, right?
Right, right. It's still out there in Virginia. So I went through the diagnostic program and everything, went down there. And once I got down there, got out on the population block.
Hmm.
So I got out there, probably stayed I would say about 7, 8 months, whatever. And then I got stabbed down there. I was talking on the phone with my mother, and some guys went and done something and said that I did it.
Hmm.
So I got hit like 16 times when I was down there.
You got shanked 16 times.
Yeah, I got one mark that hit me right from my head down to my temple here. I got hit all over in my arm, a little
Wow.
bit in the chest, some in the back, and got one hit on my left thigh and
Still
my thigh.
survive. Still survive. Still here.
Yeah, I'm still here around here for the day. And I wrapped me up, sent me back up DC jail in a medical ward area.
Hmm.
So once I come from out of there, they sent me back down Aquan. I got locked up.
Virginia.
They sent me back from Aquan, sent me back behind the wall again.
Goodness.
So I stayed back there probably another 4 years. And then from there, that's when I ran into Mr. Lawson, found out about that he was a correctional officer and all that. So going through all that, that's when Lawton was closing down.
Mm-hmm.
They sent me down to Terry Hut, Indiana.
Wow. Now you're
So
thousands of miles away from your family.
yeah, so
After
I
moving around from Lorton to Aquan, back to DC, now you all the way in Indiana.
yeah. But it was kind of only thing that stuck in my mind and felt that I was being railroaded was saying to myself, how can the hell they stick me in these high facility prisons where people with more serious crimes than what I just did, and all I did was knock the person out.
Right.
And you sending me down here with people that killed multiple people, rapings, people with high robberies or what you call those psycho killers or however you want to call it or whatever they,
Serial killers and all them.
yeah, still,
Mhm.
yeah. So I'm down there in Terry Hill, Indiana, where anything in the federal system from coming out of the Lawton and the jail was like you got to stay at home. You
Mhm.
got to stay with your homies. They call it in there
Mhm.
because DC people with DC, Virginia with Virginia, Baltimore,
New York.
Detroit,
Mhm.
Chicago. It's different cliques,
Right.
or groups of people in there that they hate, and we was one of the known dislike the people in the prison system.
DC.
DC people, they used to
Always hate DC, man.
when I first got down there, they used to call us when I first came in the dirty. I mean, dang, into Terry Hut, they call us the Dirty 40 because there was 40 of us that came in
From DC.
from DC down there.
Ain't
And
that
the prison was so quiet when I first came in. I was like, man, what the hell? But that was even more dangerous though.
because it was so quiet.
No, not because it was quiet. It was quiet because of that day when we first came in there.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, it wasn't never like that. It was
Hey,
just
let me
like,
ask you this question while I'm thinking about it. I'm trying to get an idea for race. It's funny. I looked on the Bureau of Prison Statistics today, and and I think that's for federal prison. They were showing that it was like 83%. Oh no, what was it? Let me see. It was 30 something, 38% blacks, 28% Hispanics. Then there was like 60 something percent whites.
right.
What was the race makeup in Lorton compared to Indiana?
It wasn't no mix up. Really, it was like in Lawton facility, it was neighborhoods.
But it was, I mean, race was it mostly all blacks
Yeah, it was mostly all blacks there.
and just a
All
small
black.
handful of whites, if any whites.
You wouldn't you probably see no more than probably 10, 15 white people out of the whole compound, man.
In Lorton, right?
Yeah, in Lawton.
What was that makeup race makeup in Indiana?
Oh man, you would see probably hundreds of whites, hundreds of Mexicans. You
Hmm.
know, if
It's mixed.
yeah, it was a mixed couple,
Okay,
like
so
the skinheads and all that. You got different all type of groups in there.
okay, all right. I wanted to get an idea for that. All right, I tell you what. I think we get the idea of how you were wrongfully convicted, the wrong crime, the wrong sentences, the wrong amount of time, even now on parole. All right, and yet you manage to still be here and standing. You get out of jail, you meet this wonderful queen, Rashid. You're married.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that. Now you're out of jail, right? What are you thinking? What's going through your mind? I'm free now, right? And
Well,
how you
I,
meet?
I I've
Oh,
seen the
y'all grew
baby.
up together.
How did I meet my wife?
Yes.
My wife used to live right around the corner from me. She stayed on Jefferson and I stayed on Illinois Avenue. And I used to go to school. Me and her brother used to go to school a lot. We really didn't date or anything back in them days when I was on the street because I'm running
Right.
here and there, doing the teenager thing,
Of
and
course.
she was more of a close to home, educated woman growing up,
Hmm.
and I wasn't into that field right there. But it's
Real
just
talk. Real talk. Keep it
at the
real.
thing when I got home, and my sister bought me a phone. So, I'm playing on the phone, just learn how to work it a little, and still don't know how to work it really right now today. But I seen her on the phone, and I was like, "Damn, she look good. I'm gonna get her." So I
Mhm.
text her, and ever since then we've been together.
And that's up. So you got out in 2010. When did y'all get married?
We got married 2001, July the 10th.
You got married while you were in prison.
No, when I came home.
So you got out in 2010. I mean, oh, you got married in 2011. A year
No,
after you got out?
no, we got married. We got married 2021.
Oh, 2021. Last
Yeah,
year.
yeah,
Last year. Oh, okay. Oh, you were newlywed. All right,
yeah,
congratulations, man. Congratulations.
yeah.
That is so wonderful, man, to be able to, come out and go through that whole experience and then meet someone who you know and knows you for you and you as a real person, that you're not this criminal. All right. So now
Right,
you're married, right? And movies you're doing. You're doing
right,
books. You got your own bag coming out. You're doing
right.
real estate. You're good with the hand. Tell me about this entrepreneurial thing that you and your wife started. I got companies together. She has her company. I know you're doing some stuff too. You movies. So I want to hear all about that.
That's all.
Forget about the person. But we still need an attorney though. We need somebody to help the brother out. All right. But go ahead,
That's
brother.
all. That's all my wife doing. Since we've been together, I still be. She used to be around me. I get little side jobs or somebody wants something fixed, and I'll go fix them. So she got me in this business called People Ready,
Mm-hmm.
and they was I had to write down all the type of work that I knew how to do.
Right.
So they would call me, to go, take care of the job, but I really didn't know my way around like that
Right.
for being locked up so long. The streets and everything was kind of screwed up to me.
Everything
So,
changed.
so wherever I go at, she'll go with me
Right.
and see that you know how to do this, you know how to do this, you know. She was like, "Well, why won't you start just get something of your own and do it?" And I was kind of scared of that at first, and then she kept talking to me about talk. So I jumped out there.
You
So now we got this business together is uh Mr. and Mrs. Taper Enterprise LLC.
and the
I
whole
do
entire enterprise. And under the
yeah.
enterprise, what are the different businesses under that?
I do demolition, home improvement,
Yes.
you know, it
Yes.
could be landscaping, anything dealing with the house from the top to the bottom.
Yes.
Uh she helped me get in two movies. I played in one District Queens, The Water, and
Mhm.
I'm also in another movie that's coming up to play in the part two of it. District Queens just came out, I say about 2, 3 days ago, and it's gone nationwide.
It's on demand.
Yeah,
I go check
and
it
it's
out.
on.
Yeah, the brother gets some royalty from that. Go watch District Queen, folks. Check it out.
Okay, I got a bag that I'm designing, and that came from dealing with my job because you couldn't wear the big book bags to walk around because I used to have that to carry my lunch in
Right.
stuff. So I had to wear something smaller,
Hmm.
and I had to wear something that I can carry with me and work in at the same time. So that made me come up with the bag that I got.
I like that. I can just picture. I haven't seen it, but the way you describing it, and the necessities of that, I
Right,
can picture it. I wish you so much luck with that, man. If anything I can do to help promote it and put you out there, you let me know. I want to wish you the best. The, the the whole experience that you've been through, and the fact that you're still here standing with a smile on your face, able to laugh about it now, right? And
right,
didn't stop there. You came out and you made something of yourself. You working, you contributing to society, paying taxes.
right,
We need
right.
an attorney, damn it. We need an attorney. That's all I
I
gotta
work,
say.
I work for there's a company that's under the there's a government we under a government contract. It called DC Career Path.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with that. Like the career pathway that something that the mayor put in place, right?
I'm not sure how that came about, but that's where I'm working at right now at this time
Hmm.
to help. That helps me to support my bag making. To help
Yes.
me support a lot of the things that we're trying to do. I got a book coming out. She jumped on my back about, well, won't you put a book out or and do this? So she helped me, find a publisher, and my publisher is very sweet. She's a sweet lady. They helping me. It's a lot of things that I'm thinking that can't come true. It is coming true.
Yes, yes. You have a Cash App account? Somebody can Cash App
Cash
you?
App, yes.
Right? What's the Cash App? Something I want to put that out there.
I don't keep up with that. I let my
Well, you
wife
got.
do.
Well, I'll get
Oh, oh,
permission. I get permission. You can ask Rashida. Go ahead.
okay, here you go. Let's take.
His cash app is the dollar sign
Right?
Robert Taper.
Robert Taper.
Yep.
You didn't have to come on camera for that. We just asked for it. See, she just had to
I
get in your. She
I
just had
know
to get in your
you
interview, did she, Robert? She just had to get in your interview.
That's my
Your manager.
secretary right there.
Yes, and you're in good hands, brother. You're in good hands.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, folks, if you're looking at the screen, look at the ticker. If you didn't hear him say it, it's Cash App is out there. If you feel found it in your heart to help this brother out, find some money to go towards attorney. It's Cash App. It's a dollar symbol. It's name Robert Taper. Cash App Robert Taper. All right, go ahead, brother. I feel like I keep cutting you up, but I want to get that out there. I
I
want to.
mean,
I
you
think I got
good,
you
you
helping, man.
good. It's just it's so much of my life, man. That's been a change since I've been with her, and I feel good about myself. First I didn't,
Yeah.
but now being around her and being with her, she makes me feel like whatever you trying to achieve in life, you can do it if you work hard at it and be what you want to give that word and be I can't say successful in it yet.
Mhm.
I'm successful of being in the role of trying to be a business person.
It begins right there, brother. You are on point. And you have something that I wish I had. You have a support. Don't get me wrong. My wife supports me, but she's not in business with me. That's those are my
Right.
endeavors, right? But she takes care of the house. She makes sure I got clothes to wear. She does everything. So let me
Right.
put it in perspective. But brother, you are so lucky to have that sister next to you right there and pushing you and supporting you. I interviewed her last week. I could not believe all the business that she be doing and stuff. And she's like me. I think I want to be bartender today. I go take a bartender course, get a license. I think I want to learn how to do radio and work the keyboards and all that. And she just get us up and do it, man. And you
Right.
need that kind of
Right.
people in life, man. Those people, just that energy that's like they're always going. You can't sit still around them. You know why? Because they're gonna find something. Hey, you know what? You can go act in this movie, Robert. Come on. They'll find something for you to do, right? You're
I
lucky.
find out some things at the last minute she'll throw me in. So I'll be going there with her, winding up all the time. She know that, oh, I'm gonna get him in
Oh
this.
yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, they need some help. Can you help them all the time? It was already set for me to get in there, and I don't know though.
Mm-hmm. See? That's what they call like good trouble. She gets in good trouble.
Yeah.
Good
But
for you.
then
Shout out
since
to
I've been
Rashida
with
too.
her, since we have been together, is I just wish I would have ran across her a long time ago though.
But we don't know where you'll be if you did. Here you are.
Man,
Here you are now. And the trajectory is going up, 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 brother.
there it
Y'all
is. She keeps me settled.
that's important, man. So we got about 1 more minute left, man. Anything you want to say?
Well, it's so much I want to say. I really want to get off parole to live my life. You know, it's feel like I'm still trapped.
Mm-hmm.
In any sudden move or wrong move or mistaken my identity can
Mm-hmm.
land me back in
Back in there.
incarceration. And once you get back incarceration, they call that uh
Recidivism or something like that, right?
yeah, it's something they use against that and convict you. You don't even have to. You can beat the charge and you still violated for coming back into the prison
Just
system.
because coming back.
Yeah, it just
It could be anything.
it's so crooked and wrong, or how my life turned out. I don't know if this is how everything was supposed to play out for me.
Hmm.
Is this supposed to be a lesson for me, or what? But I took a hell of a learning process out of it.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. So because now you're and I said I was going to give you the last minute, but forget that. I have to ask this question because I just it just made sense. Like, man, this brother just got married last year. You're on parole. You can't go on a honeymoon out the country nowhere, can you?
No, I haven't been on a honeymoon or nothing yet.
We need an attorney. We need somebody to help this brother out. If you're listening, you want to do some pro bono work, we got a hell of a case for you. Please reach out to roberttaper71 at gmail.com. roberttaper71 at gmail.com. And if you find it in your heart, if you got $20, $50, $100, hell, send $1,000. Y'all got it, right? Send that to Cash App. $ Robert Taper. Robert, it's
I
been real, man.
appreciate you.
It's been real. I wanted to do it just like this. I wanted to have a conversation about your story, man. I want to just not just start talking about prison and jail and all that. We can talk about that, but I wanted people to get to know you. Get to know you as an individual before all of that. What it was like growing up in your household? What was your brothers and sister like? School, all that kind of stuff, right? Because that's the real Robert before this devil came in, right? So I want to put that in context. And then we made it interesting. We talked about the police, the prosecutor, the judge, you know what I'm saying, the district attorney, the COs, the staff that was working there. So this has been a great, powerful hour, and I'm happy that we started off this Black History Month. We're talking about Black history, real history, right out of your mouth, brother, man. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much, sir.
And thank you for having me on, sir.
Absolutely. So if you enjoy the show, this show is about educating our community, our people, not just talk about economics and, and wealth and entrepreneurship, but it's also about educating our people so that we won't make the mistakes again. And I hope that someone who's watching this, if we just save one person from learning something from the lessons that Robert has just spewed out here, let that be that. Let that land where it land. If you want to be one of our sponsors, you can easily do so. Send an email to HEtv at Gmail. I'm sorry, HEtv channel at gmail.com. HEtv channel at gmail.com. So until next episode, seek higher elevations. Robert, thank you and God bless you. Rashida, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Guys, praying the best for you. We'll be in touch, okay?
All right. You have a nice one now.
You too. Good night, everybody.
All right. Much love to everyone.
Much love, brother. Peace.